Hey guys, it's HBFS and it's your boy Steve Bino. In today's video, we want to talk about how you can draw trend lines correctly. Stay tuned. A warm welcome back again to the channel. If you are watching our YouTube video and you're already a subscriber, we want to thank you for the support so far. And if you're also watching our YouTube video now and you're yet to subscribe, or it's your first time watching our YouTube video, you might consider subscribing to the channel for great content and forex strategy, not just forex strategy, for even for synthetic indices. One thing that is common with forex trader, especially beginner, is the question of how to draw trend lines correctly. There are two things you need to watch out for when drawing a trend line. The first one is you have to connect two highs or two lows, two peak or two trough. That's the first thing to consider. And the second thing to consider is that the trend line should contain as much information as possible. So whenever you want to draw a trend line, you have to put these two things into consideration. And as you can see right now on my screen, this is GBP JPY for our chart. So let's show you guys the practical way to draw trend lines. So let me pull out the trend line tool here, and here we have one here. So here is a trend line. Remember we said you have to connect two highs or two lows. So this is first low, and this is second low, and this is the third low. And the trend line must contain much information about what is going on in the market. So if you look at the trend line here at this very level, the market got rejected from this trend line. So there was a first bounce from the trend line here, and also second bounce from the trend line here. We saw multiple rejection from the trend line. So this trend line, first we connected two lows, first one, second one, and it contains much information about what is going on. So there was multiple rejection from here telling us that the bulls are still very much strong in the market. They are still in control of the market. That is the reason why we see this bounce of the trend lines. The higher the touch is, the more stronger the trend line becomes, or the more valid the trend lines become. So if we have a trend line that has two touches and we have a trend line that has three touches, the one that has three touches is more valid than the one that have two touches. Let's move the chart to the left side and see another trend line. So in this case, if you want to draw trend line in this market, this is how I would draw my trend line: here, here, and here. Yeah, first touch, second touch, third touch, market broke out, and we saw what happened, came back to retest and also respected it. So here was the first high, second high. It establishes a trend: first high, second high. So all you have to do when you connect two highs, this is the two highs, you just have to drag the trend line down, down, and what do you see? A rejection from the trend line, bounce off the trend line here. So we have first touch here, second touch, and again third touch and fourth touch. So this trend line is acting now as a dynamic resistance level here, here, and here. It's acting as a dynamic support level. So it's easy, yeah. So you just have to connect two highs or two lows and gather as much information as possible. Let's also go, so let's look at another way to draw trend lines here on GJ. This is also a trend line on GJ. Um, okay, so we have a trend line here, So this is also a trend line here. This was our first touch here, our first high, and our second high, and our third high. So the higher the touch is, the more valid the trend line becomes. The higher the touch is, the more valid. So now the market is approaching this trend line. So we have to watch out for how the candle is going to react when it gets to this trend line. And so I might actually draw this trend line like this, connecting these 2 weeks, this first one and this second one. Yeah, I really don't like drawing mine this way because it does not contain much information. Remember we said two things you have to watch out for when drawing trend line is connect two highs or two lows, and the trend line should contain much information of what is going on in the market. So I would rather draw it this way, guys. I would rather draw it this way. So this was the first breakout of the trend line. We have first breakout of the trend line. So this was the first breakout of the trend line. Look at another possible trend line here. So if I'm to draw trend line here on GJ, I'll this is how I'm going to draw it. This is the first peak. This is the first peak, second peak. So this is the first and second peak. So I just have to drag it down. Yeah. So this is how we draw it. So we have the first touch here and we have the second bounce here, making it a trend line. So with the touch, with two touch, it makes a trend line, but when we have more than two touch, it makes it more valid. And the other thing is that we have to gather as much information as possible. And as you can see here, this is the third bounce of the trend line. We see a couple of rejection here from the trend line, helping us to see that the bulls are still in control of the market, and we see a further push up to the upside. And at this level, market actually broke out of the trend line and retested it, and market went down. So this is a simple way to draw trend lines. Just have to connect two highs or two lows, gather much information as possible, and when we have two three touches, it makes it more valid. So the higher the touches, the higher the bounce of the trend line, the more valid that trend line becomes. Okay, let's look at another example using uh, AUD USD. AUD USD. Okay, so this AUD USD. So this AUD USD. If I want to draw my trend line here, this is how I'm going to do it. Yeah. So we have one here. So if some people want to draw it, some actually draw it this way, which I don't really like. Prefer this way. Yeah. So here we have the first touch, here we have the second bounce of the trend line, and we have the third bounce of the trend line. Makes it more stronger. And again, we also have trend line here. Also have trend line here. So we have another trend line here. So we have the first touch, the second touch, the third touch, and the fourth touch. There was a first breakout of the trend line. So the higher the touch is, the more valid the trend line becomes. So it becomes stronger when there is more touches to the trend line. When there is more rejection from the trend line, it becomes more stronger and valid. And we can also pull out a trend here. network was bad. So we can actually pull out another trend here. Here, so we have the first touch, we have the second touch, the third touch. There was a breakout, market came back, tested this level and bounces off the trend line. This is just a simple way to draw trend lines correctly, like a pro. Remember the steps: connect two highs or two lows, gather as much information as possible, and don't forget, the more touches, the more valid the trend line becomes. So the higher the touches, the more valid the trend line becomes. So just follow these steps and you can actually draw trend lines like a pro. If you find this video useful, give it a thumbs up and do it to drop your comment in the comment section. So it's BFS and I'll be signing out right now. Peace.